as we just talked draft, but what are they thinking in this specific game?
I mean, I think what you're probably going to try to do is make it a heavy Ezekiel Elliott game and try to turn this into a slugfest. The problem with that is, as the Bills have shown in recent weeks, they can win that game. Like, if this were the first meeting between these two teams back when they initially played, yeah, the Patriots showed they could win an ugly game against the Buffalo Bills. This is a different Bills team. And this is why I wrote a couple of weeks ago that, like, look, the Bills are the scary team in the AFC right now, and nobody should want to face them. And this was when they first started to, like, make it seem like they could get in. They can win with the ground game. They can win with their defense, which has been playing well in recent weeks. And that gives them a couple of extra cards to play other than the Josh Allen is an alien card, which is still a pretty good card to play. I think it's going to be a lot of Ezekiel Elliott, a lot of run game. They're going to take their shots. And again, Zappy has been aggressive downfield. They're going to do things on defense, which we've seen in the past. They're going to go. They've got a lot of interchangeable parts in the secondary, as they always do. They can go 3 corner to 3 safety in the blink of an eye with Bryant and how he's been playing well. And Belichick talked about that today as part of what they've been doing lately. So I think we'll see a lot of that. But they're banged up. I mean, you look at their injury report. They had 3 guys that were DNPs today. Brown with an illness, Mills and Peppers, who didn't go last week. I don't know if those 3 are going to be able to go. A lot of other people are really banged up. And so I think it's that the plan A is a lot of Ezekiel Elliott and try to grind this thing down a little bit. Plan B is just going to start throwing some stuff at the wall, taking some shot plays, trying some trick plays, seeing if you get something to sort of click on offense. But it's not a game, I wasn't confident about this anyway, but it's certainly not a game I'm confident about given where the Bills are right now and given how banged up the Patriots are.
Something that's interesting is the 11th ranked DVOA defense that the New England Patriots have. They're scrappy.
They're a scrappy defense, very good defense. They can still get after you a couple of different ways. They had this 5 sacks of Wilson, although I think a lot of those were Wilson. We're recording on the day he got benched, and certainly the financial considerations are heavy in that decision. But he was running into sacks and ran into a couple of them against the Patriots. They can create some turnovers. Look, they're a good defense, and it wouldn't surprise me if they force a turnover or 2 this weekend in this game. The problem is just on offense, and this is an offense that is still sort of struggling at times. And I think this Bills defense is a better defense than what they saw on Christmas Eve night in Denver, and certainly a better defense than what we've seen right now with Pittsburgh and how banged up they are. And a lot of Pittsburgh's problems started on the offensive side of the ball with turnovers and short fields, which certainly helped New England. So I think, yes, is there a path where the Patriots somehow steal this game? Yeah. Would I bet on it? Absolutely not. Percentage chance it happens? Maybe 5.
Yeah, that sounds about right. 29th DVOA is Denver's defense.
Yeah,
it showed.
Yeah, it absolutely showed.
For a game where I thought they were going to come back and win, unfortunately. I thought the look on Belichick's face was interesting at the end of when they made that field goal. Was like, I don't know. It was like you saw Bailey Zappi jumping around for joy, and then you see Belichick like a little confused.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was he probably even didn't expect Ryland to make that kick. Ryland's been struggling. You draft a kicker in the 4th round, and as Patriots fans are very quick to point out, you pass on Puka Nacua, although not too many people outside of the draft community knew Puka Nacua anyway. But Patriots fans are certainly quick to throw that out. Like, oh, you pass on Puka for a guy that can't make extra points, let alone field goals. Ryland's been struggling. That's part of the reason why I enjoyed the way that game ended, because he made a big kick. He certainly needed that. But part of that look at the end, Kevin, might just be sheer surprise that he made it.
Yeah, well, at least you're playing the Bills. The Bills have let up their kicker defense. 27 out of 28 kicks have gone through for the Bills. One miss was 12 men on the field. They got a re-kick on it, and the Bills lost to the Broncos earlier this year. But much similar to earlier this season when they were coming off of some devastating injuries of Daquan Jones, Trey White, and Matt Milano, the Bills had to do some adjusting, and they did not have the defense adjusted yet in that New England game. Josh Allen went down the field, 24, 25 points. That should win you a game, especially against a New England offense that later benches Mac Jones. Yeah. It seems to me that, averaging 14 points a game, you get to 17 to 20, should do it. But we've seen this New England offense a little bit pesky in recent weeks against some bad defenses. The Bills defense is humming. They're getting after quarterbacks. They're getting it done that way. How's this New England offensive line? That is something that everyone was wondering about. Like, it's banged up. The center is going to break a record, right? I believe Andrews is going to break a record. Yep.
Yeah. There is that, but like it's been a band up group all season. And that's also been part of the struggles with Mac Jones, and was part of the struggles with Mac Jones. It's a banged up group, and it's not like Zappe is a super athletic quarterback. So there will be opportunities to get after him. There will be sack opportunities, strip sack opportunities. If Brown can't go, that's certainly going to be a problem because they're thin anyway. And if he's got this illness, and anytime you get to the winter and you hear players miss practice, DMP for illness, you wonder if you're going to have a flu situation working itself through the locker room. So that's also something to keep in mind. But, this is a band-up group. They've had to turn to some young guys, kid from UCLA who I do like, but, they're having to rely on him a lot. And so it's a banged-up offensive line too. I mean, it's a banged-up team, banged-up offensive line. We'll see who's going to be able to go and if Brown can be able to go this weekend. But here we are on Tuesday. You get a DMP that never looks good.
Yeah. Was Brown, generally speaking, early on illnesses should be okay. But Bailey Zappe, 15 sacks he's allowed, 10% of dropbacks he's getting sacked. Is that on him? Is he holding the ball?
Some of it is. Some of it is. A lot of the pressures are sort of invited pressures, I would say. I know PFF charts that. I don't have the number in front of me, but some of them are on him. Some of them are, guys are missing, early in the down. Because of, you've got Hunter Henry bend up, who is very good at, the chip and release game. Now you've got other guys doing that maybe aren't as good, aren't as experienced at doing that. So that's also a factor at play here. Ezekiel Elliott is a very good for the most part. He's very good for the most part of pass protection, but he's not on the field all the time. So you got some other backs that are trying to do that as well. But Zappe's invited pressure. He's taking some sacks that he probably shouldn't. He needs to do at times a bit better job of sort of getting rid of it, throwing it away. But there will be opportunities for this Buffalo pass rush to get after him this weekend.
54 sacks for the Ravens, too. 52 for the Dolphins, 50 for the Bills, 48 for the Chiefs, and 47 for the Colts. 5 of your 7 AFC playoff teams in the top 5 there. So we'll see how that looks.
Mark, so, excuse me. To your point, the Patriots have a pretty good defense for the most part. They are 8th in total defense and then 2nd in run defense. But then on the flip side, we've been talking about the offense, and they are dead last in scoring, only average 14.1 points per game. So to me, this comes down to Josh Allen. As nice as James Cook has been over the last few weeks, it might be a little bit tougher to run on the stout defensive line of the Patriots. So I think this has to be a week, especially with the season on the line, getting down into crunch time. You have to put the ball in your best player's hands, Josh Allen. So to me, Allen and Stephon Diggs are going to have to rekindle that chemistry because Diggs was held in check once again, and he hasn't gone over 100 since week 6 against the Giants. So he's been productive, but he hasn't been the same Stephon Diggs that we've known to love here. So to me, it's going to come down to those two this weekend. So my question to you is the Patriots secondary vulnerable? Will they give up those big plays? Because I know Diggs has had his fun with the Patriots over the years, but obviously this is a different team. And like I said, Diggs hasn't been his normal self as of late. So do you think that this is a week that he can kind of snap out of it?
I do, Kevin. And part of that is, look, Mills and Peppers are two sort of essential parts to this defense right now. Peppers obviously didn't go last week, and now Mills has got a concussion as well. And if they can't go, it's going to be very difficult for them to sort of contain Allen, to contain Stephon Diggs. And they've had trouble with Allen in the past. They've had trouble with Diggs in the past. They've had trouble with a couple of different Bills receivers in the past. And part of it is because you want to play man coverage. That's where Belichick wants to be. But sometimes you don't want to play man coverage against Josh Allen because, as we've seen him do before, he can run it on you when you're in man coverage and you get defenders running with their backs to Josh Allen. And it's an opportunity. And the Patriots have talked about this over the years between these two teams when they face Josh Allen, the difficulties of defending him, because it sort of separates you from where you might want to be philosophically as a defense with more heavy man coverage stuff. So, particularly if Mills and Peppers can't go, this could be a huge game for Josh Allen. It could be that sort of, like you said, breakout game for Diggs in the sense that he hasn't had the 100-yard game in a while, and Bills fans are kind of waiting to see when the next one is. It could very well be this weekend.